All right, Mr. Layton, we received a substitution of attorney for you in this matter. Just so that you are familiar with Will Garber in this case, he was arraigned on, this is probably the 5th violation of probation. He was arraigned on that back on November the 13th, and he requested a hearing in this matter. It was set for in-person today. Where are you with this matter, sir?
Are we ready for a hearing now?
Ms. McDuffie, are you ready to hold the hearing?
Your Honor, in this matter, I believe that the latest violation just has to do with his behavior with the personnel associated with MRT and the other programming. I was not informed that there was going to be a request for a hearing today, so I did not ask anyone to appear in terms of testifying as to if he's challenging whether or not what those statements that he made are accurate and came from him. Then I suppose I would need to have somebody here, but I wasn't informed that there was a desire to hold a hearing today.
All right, so he was.
I don't think that there is an issue with any of the facts that are stated in this. We have a report to probation. We see what the allegations are.
Yes, the allegations are that he was discharged from MRT program due to poor behavior in violation of complete the moral recognition therapy condition of his probation, which we've gone over with him about 6 times now.
And we'll agree.
Then he also sent an email to her accusing her of lying on him, saying, what the hell do you mean I'm not complying? I'm probably gonna go to jail because you and your people refuse to just let me go to step 2 and complete this useless MRT.
So he'll admit to all those, that he said those things.
And you've gone over the recommendation with him.
Well, the recommendation, I don't even see a recommendation except, you know,
It's right there on the back, right before the name of the person who submitted.
right, we don't agree with the recommendation.
All right, my question was, have you gone over the recommendation with them?
Yes.
All right, thank you, because I intend to follow that.
Well, I appreciate that. But I'd like to allocate for him.
Of course, you get to do that. I just want everybody to be clear about that.
Yes.
This is. Let's see, he got put on probation on December the 16th of 2021.
Was there a pre-sentence report?
Back then?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I haven't read the pre-sentence
Right,
report.
that's why I'm trying to bring you up to speed before we get here. So
Yes.
you can be clear on where I am, okay?
Yes.
And anyone else in the courtroom. And when I put him on probation in 2021, then he got an immediate warrant after that on, well, first of all, the warrant came in and then was not entered. That was for February the 14th of 2022. Then he got another warrant on August the 10th. Then he got arraigned on that warrant and placed on GPS tether. Then he came back again, appeared on another violation on September the 22nd. He had, at that point, threatened the VA. Then he came back again, appeared on a violation because he refused to take his shots. Then he came back again, appeared on another violation. He was reinstated, given another opportunity. And he was told to have no harassing or stalking behavior towards Kim Patterson, no going to the VPA, no going, and it was no going into the exclusion zones. He was compliant for a while, which I was very happy about, starting around the beginning of this year, January 17th. No, the end of November to June. Then he got another violation in July, pled to another violation in July. Then he got remanded for him to do his medications that time. Then he came back again, appeared for sentencing, got 7 days in jail. That was in August. Then he went back on probation. I've given him multiple opportunities. In October the 2nd, he came back and pled to another violation. And at that time, that was for MRT again. at which time he was told that he had to complete this MRT or he was going to do the jail time. Now we're back here again. So that is where we are.
Your Honor, I have been retained on this case, and I have consulted with numerous people regarding this case. And the reason I asked if it was a pre-sentence report is I wanted to see if what they addressed regarding his mental health.
We've been addressing his mental health from the very start of this
Right,
process.
and I want to allocate that I'm cautious to lock anyone up that has such an extreme mental condition as my client.
Mhm.
His mother's here in court. He
I
suffers.
understand that. People who have mental health conditions, they're given opportunities to get their treatment and do what they're supposed to do,
Right,
just
right.
like anybody else.
But this most recent violation that we're talking about is a violation where he got into disagreement, so to speak, with the program of whether he had to admit at step one that certain things that he is not ready to admit or feels that he didn't.
Okay.
And so,
All right, before we get to your allocution, which it sounds like you're doing right now,
yeah,
what does your client want to do? Does he want to accept responsibility for the violation?
yes,
All right, please raise your right hand and be sworn. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Sir, is it true that you were discharged from MRT again?
Yes, it's true. I was discharged from MRT again.
All right, I find that there's a knowing and willing admission to the violation. Are you satisfied, Ms. McDuffie?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Do you want to see the report?
no, I'm
All
fine.
right, you may proceed.
I will tell you that I just don't feel like he's a candidate for a program that has these rules. Has real difficulty with just a minimum. I'll say that he has extreme PTSD and he is not understanding many of the things that are going on here. I even asked him, he printed out his diagnosis and I asked him to bring it. It's pretty simple. He did print it out. He did get it, but then he didn't bring it today. I mean, it's very difficult for him to follow simple instructions, and he has a real issue remembering things and seeing things, and I don't think he means to necessarily be disrespectful. So anyone would see that anyone who would send an email that says the things he said sounds very disrespectful to the people that run the program. But he can't help himself, which is basically the definition of frankly incompetency. I don't think he's competent in any way whatsoever. But to put him in this program where he can't even communicate properly at step.
So are you suggesting that he can't follow the rules of society?
I'm suggesting that he can follow the rules of society, and that's why we didn't lock him up to begin with.
That's not why we didn't lock him up to begin with.
Yes, he can follow the rules of society. I mean, he's an honorably discharged Iraqi veteran that suffered.
I'm familiar with that.
Yes, you know how bad it is, and it's just, when I talk to him, he means no disrespect to anyone, especially the court and this program. He just has a problem understanding. He's not going to go out there and do this again. That's not the issue. The issue is what he did, and I have the original reports of what he did. Now,
the original reports of what he did are extreme
I
in and of
understand.
themselves.
I understand, and I talked to him about that. That he understands. That he tells me he won't ever do again. He understands that conduct is bad. What he doesn't understand at step one is, he tells me, is that they want him to say certain things he's just not comfortable saying. And he would have no trouble, he claims, completing the program, but they want him to admit certain things and step.
Admit that what he did was wrong,
Right,
and he's not willing to do that.
right.
Yes.
That's true. And I don't think he will ever, I mean, he would be lying if he
He would
said,
be lying to say that what he did was wrong.
yes, he would be lying to say
Okay.
it, because that's not what he believes.
Okay.
Now, are we gonna lock him up for that?
Yes, we are.
Is it a, I understand, but let me just finish. He has an extreme mental health situation. Obviously, he could say and do the things that you would want right now. You know, he could have always done that, but he's just not in the mental condition to do that. He's not trying to impress Your Honor at this point in time, because obviously
He has not tried to do that at any point.
I understand, but what I'm saying to Your Honor is we can't blame this man for his conduct since he's been put on probation. We just can't. We can do our best to try to understand it, but he is far off. He's not normal. And this is caused by his service to our country. It's caused by that. He honorably served this country, and he has a mental health condition that now is causing him to do things that
To post pictures, nude pictures of people, and to have
So long.
the actual, I'm sorry, what?
You talking about old stuff.
This is not old stuff, ma'am, and please don't.
I want to say something else. I want to say nothing else.
All right.
That is exactly what he is here in court for, on probation for.
The videos and pictures were consensual.
Hold on. And that's why I was asking. I don't know if you knew this is not that something that he filmed. Like many cases, he's filming or doing something that wasn't legal at the time.
It's not legal to post pictures of little girls at any time.
I haven't posted any pictures of little girls.
I was told that this had to do with his ex-wife.
This one is his ex-wife. The other one that came from 1482 was the little girl.
All right. Well, that I have. Hold on. All right. Well, that is my elocution in a nutshell. And if I was the judge sitting there, I would say this person, under normal circumstances, the person that we see this report, this violation, deserves to be locked up, except that you see it, he doesn't get it. And in locking him up for 93 days for the recommendation, he's not going to do one thing to change that. It's just going to punish him. He's not going to come out saying, well, I've learned my lesson. He's not going to get this at this particular point in time. This is not going to sink in at this point in time. He's not in a condition. I wish we could have subpoenaed his doctors to let you know how bad it is. It's worse than this. He's actually doing not so bad in real life. He's not committing any other crimes. Nothing else since this incident. It's just an inability to follow the requirements of a probationary period, which frankly is very predictable that he would not be able to do that. I would have not argued for it at the beginning. I would have said he was not a great person for the program. That's what we have to say. It's not an excuse. It's just the truth.
Thank you. Ms. McDuffie?
I understand that counsel just got appointed to the case and therefore is probably not as familiar as this court is with Mr. Stewart and his history and his behavior. I myself have only been here since the greater part of this year, and Mr. Stewart has obviously been here longer than that. However, Mr. Stewart, how can counsel assure us that he will never do this again? He will never behave like that again if the rationale is that he doesn't have the self-control to not do those things to begin with.
It's not
Mr.
bad.
Stewart is, I'm sorry, you talking?
No, go ahead. Go ahead. We apologize. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Stewart, as I think the court has already mentioned, has been here time and time again. We're aware that he has some significant mental health issues. We're aware that he's a veteran, has PTSD and other challenges, that he's medicated for those things. Part of his violations, as the court mentioned, were not adhering to that regimen. But if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Stewart has displayed this type of behavior even when he is compliant. There's a history of him. He just had an outburst today that was very disrespectful a few seconds ago before the court about the nature of the original
That
charges.
wasn't
So
him.
He was ordered to
That was
get
not
that.
him.
Oh, that wasn't him?
Oh, that was his mother.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. That's another layer. When he mentioned that he was, or when he was ordered to remain compliant, so my apologies, I do not want to attribute that particular issue to him. But when he was ordered to get back compliant with his medications, I remember I have notes here in my notes that he started coming at Your Honor angrily and said, "Are you going to be the one to pick him up?" Before he was asked to stop speaking. Now, at that point, yes, he wasn't on his meds. This court has displayed a pretty keen ability to determine when somebody is acting out due to an issue related to that, and it just rolls off the court's back as it did that time. The court has mentioned the history of, I think, angry interactions with the court outside of that, before and after that. Here's the thing. He's displayed this behavior this entire time. Multiple things can be true at the same time. I am not downplaying or doubting that he has some serious issues, that he doesn't have 100% control over his actions. But I don't believe that that means that we can't blame him for any of his conduct since he's been put on probation. Because in this latest email, he indicated a very clear ability to discern what he was supposed to do, the consequences for his actions, and then shifting the blame onto the people he was insulting and calling assholes, that he was now going to go to jail because they were reporting, as they should, his noncompliance to this court. It's ironic because had he not done that, he's still non-compliant, but he's the person who put himself in jeopardy of going to jail by exactly what he did. So to have that level of insight into what you knew you were supposed to do and the consequences for it, attempting to avoid it and putting on somebody else, that's not somebody who has no idea what's going on. It's somebody who doesn't want to be held accountable for what's going on. Again, I'm not downplaying the overall situation affecting him, but I think the bottom line here is that he does have control over his behavior. He is in the community, and he does have a very basic sense of right and wrong. A competency was evaluated earlier in this case, and apparently he was deemed competent to stand trial, and here we are. So I appreciate counsel representing that these are not excuses. They're also not a pass for his behavior. Now, the court has been willing to accommodate plenty of people who have had particular difficulties with particular programs. And if something's not working out, I have seen this court time and time again recommend an alternative, recommend alternate ways. There are people who can't even report online. They've been allowed to call in. We can accommodate people, actually the court, it's not even me. The court and probation can make accommodations when they're needed and when they're appropriate and necessary. Calling the personnel that runs the programs that he's repeatedly not complied with assholes, that's not an accommodation. That's willful, knowing, informed behavioral choices. The other layer of irony being that it's about the program with the goal of changing his behavior to begin with. So I appreciate that counsel has a job to do, but I can't personally accept the explanation that he not only doesn't understand what he's doing, but then can go and make a promise that he won't do it again. If he doesn't understand it, he can't promise to not do it again. But I believe he does understand. That's all from people.
Your Honor, he's not even in charge of his own funds. Okay, he can't even spend money. They don't even give him that much responsibility. You can't get through a day without complete help from his family. Ms. McDuffie, is that? I appreciate Ms. McDuffie's comments, and I know it's difficult. You just want people, she's just trying to do her job. I really apologize that this is hindering her from just doing what she wants to do. That's just, I hate having to do that, Ms. McDuffie. I didn't know Mr. Stewart before his current mental health conditions, but I was told at one time he's pretty competent enough to serve in the military and help our country. So I don't know what he was like, but I know he's having issues now. And that's my only comment. I feel terrible, just a bad situation. And I wish we could get him to comply, but You know, in his own mind, he's being honest with the court.
This is, apparently your client left this in the vehicle.
Yes, the mental health.
Okay. All right, well, see, he doesn't remember. Your Honor, these are letters from the Department of Veterans Affairs, the confidential reports, which I don't mind turning over to the court. Looks like he's got his problem list. His health summaries. May I present it to the court? You want to take a look?
The prosecutor will not have had an opportunity to see that. That's ex parte
All right.
communication.
Okay. Well,
Mr. Stewart, is there something you would like to say, sir?
Yes, there is something I would like to say. There's a reason behind me saying I don't think I did anything wrong. When my ex-wife and I were first together, we were both consensually posting videos online about our adult times in bed. She posted first and then I posted. It wasn't until after we separated that she changed her mind. And after that, the videos were deleted when I was notified that she didn't want them up. As far as MRT goes, the only thing that the violation would be me getting kicked out of the class for saying I didn't think the class would help me. I don't think that at that point was grounds to kick me out just because I said I didn't think the class would help me. I went through the step. I followed the step one. I did the pyramid. I did the 10-question testimonial that they tell you to do in the step. And I got voted. They voted me. So it wasn't really my choice to get voted out. I just tried to comply with the program as much as I could.
Anything else?
no, thank you.
No.
This is one of the most extreme cases in enabling behavior that I think I've seen. He seems very clearly aware of what's going on and is making a conscious choice to decide that he's not going to follow the program. He's not going to admit that he did anything wrong because in his mind, he didn't do anything wrong. He stands before this court convicted of the same thing that he said he didn't do wrong. It is that same thing that has prevented him from moving on to step 2. He's choosing to say he didn't do anything wrong. He's been saying the same thing ever since his conviction, although he pled to it. That does not sound like the behavior of a person who actually is acting out of their mental illness, rather out of defiance. And the fact that he's been before this court at least 7 times on violations, including one in which he was threatening a VA worker. Now he's making comments to the MRT about their decision to discharge him from a program that he clearly is not going to comply with. And yet everyone sits here thinking that that's okay. Because he was in the military. Many people who are in the military who get out and follow the rules of this state. He, on the other hand, thinks he gets a pass. That's not how this works. I've given him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 opportunities to get it right. He refuses. As such, your probation in this particular case is revoked. It is the sentence of this court that you serve 45 days in the Washtenaw County Jail, credit for the 22 that you served.
You said 45?
That's what I said.
Credit for 26.
About 21 days.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.